Hey y'all, what's going on? It's me, your girl, Antinette, and I definitely want to say thank you for returning back to Transformational Conversations with Antinette on my YouTube channel. Today we have Dejunae Stringfield, and she's coming
Hey
to
guys.
yes, and she's coming to talk to us about, she's coming to share her story with us. So I just want her to, we're gonna get right into it. So hey, Dejunae.
Hey guys. Hey. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for saying yes. Thank you for, being willing to share your story. I really, really appreciate it. And I know they are going to appreciate it as well.
Yes.
Yes. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? It don't got to be a little bit. It can be a lot, but just tell us about yourself.
So like Antoinette said, I am Dejunae Stringfield. I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware. I lived there all my life. I got married and we decided to just take a leap of faith and move to Atlanta, Georgia. So I've been here for a year.
Wow.
Excuse me. So I've been here for about a year now. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Of course, I'm a woman of faith. So, I found a great church home. I'm a business owner, an entrepreneur, still have that 9 to 5. But I love Atlanta. So that's a little bit about me. I lived in Delaware my entire life. So, I'm just rebuilding, rebranding, starting all over.
Yes.
And this time I'm married.
Right.
So that's about it.
Okay.
That's it.
So what do you do for your 9 to 5? What do you do in Atlanta?
So what I do is, when I was working in Delaware, I worked for Blue Cross.
Oh.
So what I did was I transferred to Delta Dental, but I do the same thing. So I work with brokers. I'm a quality lead in the producer compensation analyst department. So basically I credential brokers, make sure that they get their money on time, as well as sometimes I can actually set up a benefit package. So when I was at Blue Cross, I did benefits. So I was that person your company reached out to set up like benefits and customer service and things like that.
Okay. And I know you are a real spiritual person, but how did you go about finding a church home being far away?
Oh man. So when we first got here, I was nervous because I was really afraid to leave my church. I love my church in Delaware. Shout out to the Cathedral of Fresh Fire. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, I used to go there. Okay. Yes.
But when I got here, me and my husband had visited like maybe 2 churches before we found our church. We visited 2 churches and we was like, nah, it's not giving me that family. Yeah. When I look for a church, so I'm different. I look for, do I see my life in the people there? Meaning, if you're married, marriage ministry, children, I want to see families, I want to see successful people and happy people. That's what I want to be in life. Mm-hmm. So when I go churches and I look and people don't want to speak and stuff, I'm like, don't want to be that in 5 years. So the 2 churches, I started giving up. Like I was like, I'm done. One of my good friends is a pastor in Delaware, and he was like, I want you to check out this church, and it's a YouTube church. So I looked at it, I was like, we gotta go. 50-minute drive, and I remember my husband saying, I don't think I can take this drive every Sunday. We got there, and when I tell you, my apostle Travis Jennings and the Harvest Tabernacle family, from the moment we went there, and they were like, we've never seen y'all. And from that moment on, they were like, we were family. Like before we had even joined, they were like so instrumental in our growth, as well as when we get into talking about the whole Laila Foundation and things. Yes. My church. So I knew we picked the right place. So give it up to my apostle and first lady and the Harvest Tabernacle family. I'm sure they're gonna watch this. Yes. So give it up to them. I love being there. I love being a member. It's just amazing. So
that's amazing. I love that.
I love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Cool. Tell us about the Laila Foundation, but then I really want to get into like that day and what happened that day.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go.
Okay, so the Laila Nicole Foundation. So I'm gonna start by telling the story first. So my husband and I, we weren't expecting to have any children. If a lot of people know me, I was fine with just being successful with no kids. So in about June or July of 2019, we found out that we were pregnant. At that time, I was already 3 months. We had a normal second trimester. The second trimester, in September, we found out I had a little bit of like bleeding. So my doctor had took me out of work. With him taking me out of work, I was on bed rest. I had to make a decision. I was on bed rest for about 8 weeks before I decided to go back to work. My doctor had took me out of work for the remainder of the pregnancy. I had to choose to go back to work based on, my paperwork wasn't fast enough. They weren't responding fast enough. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back to work because, let's be honest, we're millennials, it's 2019. This is not back in the day where we can depend on a one person home, where the wife stay home, the husband. We don't live like that. That's, we're going to be honest, 2 car notes, a house note, bills. You need your second income to kind of filter in. So that is kind of what happened. So I went back to work. I was back to work for my doctor before then was saying, I don't want you to go back to work, the stress of work. The Dejunae was thinking, well, nothing is really stressful for me because I'm usually a happy person. So I was like, I'm good, like whatever. Not knowing that when your doctor says the stress of something, he meant the stress of the body getting there. Meaning you got to wake up. Your alarm has to wake you up. So you're not waking up on your own. You have to get dressed. You have to commute to work. You have to be to work. You have to walk to the bathroom. So I didn't think of that until now when he was saying the stress of work. I was thinking, I like being at work. I like my coworkers. I love my boss. I'm good. But now when you think about it, even with us being quarantined because of the COVID-19, you kind of get it. Like when you, like now that I'm able to really think about it, and it's like, think about on a Saturday, you just wake up. But it's harder when that alarm clock wakes you up Monday. It's like it puts a stress on your body. So that is definitely one of the things that I definitely learned throughout this process. So leading up to what happened, so I went to work the first week. So my doctor was saying, at the time I was 6.5 months pregnant, going on 7. When I first decided to go back to work, my doctor said, well, I want to see you because now, mind you, the whole 8 weeks I was home, the bleeding has stopped. At this point, I was just home. Like, he was like, I'd rather you be home the remainder of your pregnancy than having to go, back to work and be out. So I went back to work that Friday before I went back. I told him, I was like, hey, I really kind of just need the money, whatever, this, and this. And he was like, I don't want you to go back. But what I'm going to do is while you're back, I want to see you every week. Okay. So he saw me the Friday before I went back. The baby was normal. Like, she was performing, flipping, thumb in her mouth, everything. I went back after I had been there a week the next Friday. And he said, she didn't grow in a week. But, it's nothing to worry about, her growth, kind of like, which was expected because of the stress. Her growth is kind of, but she was still performing, still eating, everything. The next Friday I went back and it was no heartbeat. So in 2 weeks of going back, there was absolutely no heartbeat. So I can remember he saying, I took it as, this was something that we'll definitely talk about with the questions you had, like your recovery and feeling bad and then knowing like, what I had to know now. So, I had to deliver. I had a full delivery. I was induced, full pushing of a baby, a placenta, because she actually was a baby. When I pushed her out, delivered her. She went, they took her to get pictures like she would if she was a baby. We held her. So I had a normal delivery, and that is where your faith kicks in, because it was like, I know with me, like, okay, God, like I waited until I was married. Like, really?
Yeah.
But that is what happened. So that is kind of where the Laila Nicole Foundation comes in. So I started the Laila Nicole Foundation, which her name was going to be Laila Nicole. And that was just to, I know as us Black women, not to say my job didn't do their part, because again, I chose to go back to work. But I feel like when it comes to us, for one, I feel like we always listen to what people said before. Like, what my Aunt Cheryl said, that her delivery was okay, and she worked the whole time and wore heels the whole time, and I'm good. But we have to, just take a moment back to really listen to like doctors' orders. And the Laila Nicole Foundation is put in place to help mothers on bed rest so that you're not forced to make a decision like me to go back to work, where I am a resource where I can tell you, if he's placing you on bed rest, this is the paperwork you need to ask your doctor. This is the paperwork that you need for your job so that they can speed the process up. Because with me, I never had a baby. So I didn't know the company's procedures that I had to fill this paperwork out, then send it to the doctor. They had to fill this out. Then they fill it back out. Now that I have been there, I know the process of what is, it's called for so that the process won't take so long. But that's just what the Laila Nicole Foundation is. I don't want any mother to have to be home to wear on bed rest, worrying about if you're going to have a bed to sleep in. Right. Because you don't have any pay, or you don't have the resources, or, you need things, again, paid for, groceries, and just to make that bed rest experience able to just concentrate on you and your baby so that you don't have no worries, no anything like that. So that is my goal to promote. And I also want to do things with like pregnant mothers, period. Like, I didn't know until me and my husband started buying stuff for Laila how expensive stuff was. So I wanted to create something where people could come to me and say, you know what, I've had a baby, but we can't afford it. So I can be able to, and my team can assist with Pampers and clothing and a baby shower if you need it, or food, or again, not all jobs allow you to take maternity leave with pay. So, right. Just to make sure you have an extra money, make sure you have a ride to and from your doctor's appointment. So those is the things that I struggle with being a first-time mom and away from everything, the stress of, oh, I'm on bed rest, my husband still has to go to work, I can't drive, now I'm Ubering, and I'm not comfortable Ubering. Mm-hmm. So literally this was something, and I believe that all things, and I'm always someone, I started the She Rocks back in Delaware, the She Rocks organization, which was geared towards women. So I felt like, this was just something under my umbrella that again goes with assisting women, especially women of color, not discriminating anything, but sometimes we're just so overlooked and we just do so much, and it's so hard to keep up a standard and just have a normal life. So if anything that I can do to give back to a community to make your experience easier than what mine is, to save another baby or to save another mother if I'm going crazy, that's what it is. Yeah. So that is the Laila Nicole Foundation.
Wow. Okay. I love that. First of all, I never thought about stress when somebody tells you, like, when the doctor would say, you have to go on bed rest, because of stress. I didn't think about it as the everyday, just the fact that you set an alarm clock, that's stressful to the body, so that's like, wow. So I think that's an eye-opening moment for people listening. Like, if the doctor tells you to go on bed rest, you need to just go on bed rest, because it's not stress. Like, you could be happy on the outside, but the fact that you're doing stuff that's unnatural to the body, is causing you to just naturally stress. So
when the body is supposed to rest, let the body rest. Like and I was hard-headed too. So, I don't have a problem admitting my wrongs. Like, when I first went on bed rest, when I was, showing signs of like bleeding and stuff, they had me on 30-minute increments a day. So that was basically 30 minutes is like you getting up, taking a shower, laying down. I can remember telling my doctor, well, I'm home, like, and he would say, no, you need to pick a room. Either you're going to come downstairs and be in your living room all day, or you're going to go upstairs and be in your bed all day. But because I'm this active person, I was like, well, I'm about to go stand outside. I'm going to go stand in the kitchen. But now I understand, like, when he actually broke down the stress and we don't think of that because, look at the COVID. People are walking around with no symptoms. So you're like, oh, I'm good. And on the inside, your body is like fighting. And it needs that rest. So I definitely get it. If I could tell anybody, if you're on a doctor's order, take your medication, drink your water, whatever you have, stay hydrated, because your body has, like, our bodies are meant to like naturally heal. So you have to give your body that time and that space to actually heal and cooperate with the doctor's orders. So my advice today is, if you're put on bed rest or anything, take that time to rest. Don't worry about nothing. Don't stress about nothing. Limit. My pastor was saying all the time, he was like, watch your conversation. Like, what? Like, watch my conversation? Like, he would preach it, like, watch your conversation. That's true. Somebody calls you and they talking about their job, and you supposed to be on bed rest. Now you stressed because they complaining and get like but it's just the things that we do naturally that we don't really understand, that are very vital to you.
Yeah. I wanted to know, was miscarriages, is that something that runs in your family?
Miscarriages do not run in my family. I was the first miscarriage.
Wow. And then
the first one.
Being the first miscarriage, how did you cope with losing? Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
So when it first, oh man, hope, I thought I was going to lose my life. I was in a dark place because, mind you, I had delivered a baby. So I went through the natural. I was still in the labor and delivery. I still had to stay 2 days. They still wheelchaired me out. It's just that they gave me a teddy bear while I was in a waiting with other rides of mothers that actually had their baby sitting in their lap. Wow. So I went through, I was in a dark place. I was in a dark place. I know one of the questions that you sent over, which can tie into that, like, how did it hurt my marriage or make it better? I can remember for a minute, I was really angry with him too. Like, okay, I'm crying every night. I can't get on Facebook because now I'm embarrassed. I mean, which is a normal feeling. People will be like, well, why are you embarrassed? Something you can't control. But I'm embarrassed, like, I lost a baby. Like, that's embarrassing. When we had invitation, the baby shower was like 3 weeks. It was in 3 weeks. I was embarrassed. I was in a dark place. I was like, God, why me? Like, I didn't even want kids. And then you allowed me to carry a baby, get attached, and then you take her. So I can remember being mad at my husband. Like, you mean, like, I'm crying and I'm waking up crying. Can't go to the store. I see a kid and I'm crying, and you're going, like, he's like, la, 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 but not knowing. One of the things my doctor has said that really made sense to me. And he was saying, with women, we bond. So, you get used to her kicks and you talking to her like, hey, like, that hurt. Men, they don't usually bond until after the baby is here. So I experienced all of the bonding, finding out, excited, I'm going through the vomiting and the nausea and all of that, where men are usually waiting for that baby to be delivered to bond. So it changed me. I was angry for like the first couple weeks. Like, I was snappy because I just didn't understand, like, why this happened to me.
Yeah. And how did you come up out of it?
I had and this is so crazy, give it up to my apostle again, Apostle Travis. He always says that your circle determines how long you stay in a situation. If you're still depressed and angry in 2 months, that means you got to get rid of your circle, because your circle is supposed to be there to uplift you to the next level. After about 2 weeks, I went through the friend thing. Like, my mindset changed, because at first I was feeling like, okay, there are certain people that should be reaching out to me. Like, okay, why haven't I heard from you? Like, you don't want to say like, oh, well, people don't know what to say. But in my mind, I was like, well, when such and such grandmom died or mom died, I didn't know what to say, but I was there.
Yeah.
So I went through that stage. But my real friends that were like, my ride or dies, they were basically like, okay, I understand this happened to you. You're not the only miscarriage. We're going to get up. Like, they started sending me devotionals. Shout out to my two besties, Amber Lewis, hairstylist, and my bestie, Sharnice. When I tell you, them girls will be on the phone, I would just pick up and cry. And they'll be like, we're going to let you cry, but started reaffirming who I was. Like, don't forget you're still an awesome wife, and you have to be a wife. Don't forget, you're a great employee. You're a great friend. And this is what we're used to seeing. And God makes no mistakes. So I definitely say my circle.
Yes.
Now, my circle got a lot smaller after this. After this too, but literally my circle, my friends, my church friends here in Atlanta, like, you know, just the people speaking is, I don't want to say speaking into my spirit, because you don't want to be so like superficial, you know, church, but literally speaking into the heart of Dejunae and not the physical, was the woman that just lost the baby. Like, you had to speak into where my heart was aching, and my heart was like destroyed. So I had people affirming, don't forget you love hard. Don't forget you're going to be an awesome mother. Don't forget the doctor said that he wants y'all to try again in a couple months, because this will never happen again. And don't forget. So literally my friends, my circle is what got me out of a dark place. Because I was in the dark. When I tell you, there were some days I'll never forget. This one night I got up and I was crying, and I just didn't understand. Like, I felt like the world, like I could not see moment by moment by moment. Like, literally, I was living literally second by second by second. I got up and went into a drawer and pulled out my insurance stuff. Because I just knew, I was like, okay, God, like, what is left for me? Like, you basically are going to take me. So I wanted to pull the insurance stuff out just in case I didn't make it. Like, husband, we got an insurance policy. This is what it is. Because I just didn't see. I was so hurt that I just did not see the next. Like, literally, I was living from 11:30, 11:31, 11:32, not seeing 12 o'clock. Like, it was just a dark place.
Wow. Thank God.
A dark place.
Thank God.
Yes.
For people in your life. And like your pastor said, speaking words, because words have power. Like,
yes.
Words are powerful. So you need people to speak into your soul.
They can either hurt you or heal you.
Yes. And
they gonna do either two.
Yes. Thank God they healed you.
Yes. Yes.
People don't make it out. So I'm glad you did. Wow. And you said that your husband, he didn't really have any type of like.
He did. When we delivered the baby, he had a little, I don't know if he want me to say this, but he actually like had a really breaking down moment again at the delivery.
Yeah.
And I can remember hearing him on the phone, and he said, I had just told my coworkers, my husband is private. He's not like me. For the sense. And I can remember him saying to somebody, he was like, I had just started telling my coworkers that I had a daughter on the way. And that thing pierced me, because men just deal differently. Like, now he's a man. He's like, okay, like any moment now, you should be popping up.
You gotta do this again.
And here I'm like, not yet. Like, I gotta get over the first one. But he's like, the doctor said it's gonna happen again, so let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, not yet, sir.
Right. What have you learned by, some things that you have learned by going through this experience?
I learned that so it has definitely made me more appreciative of life. I've never been so appreciative of like people having babies and stuff. Like, I count that a privilege to know that your body can carry, because I was fine. So when I see people like that are like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, or I'm about to have a baby, like, I'm so like, oh my gosh, you don't understand the blessing.
Yeah. And
that your womb is able to carry a baby full term. And I think that because it's so normal to people don't really like, take like, oh my God, like, because I could have lost her a long time ago or something. So the lesson I learned definitely is like, everybody's experience is not your experience. Like, people was calling me and inboxing me like, oh girl, first of all, I thought I was the only one that had miscarriages. Because it's not, people don't really talk about it.
Right.
Like, you don't really hear about it. When I remember when I put it up on Facebook and Instagram, my inboxes was bombarded. Like, I had a miscarriage. I had 3 before I had this one. I had 3. I had 4. I had 5.
Yeah.
And they would say, oh, this, and you're going to be all right. And so what I can definitely say, what it taught me is that, everybody's experience is not mine. Because if I would have listened to, with such and such saying, oh, I bounced back right quick. Well, it took me a long time to bounce back. Like, I wasn't expecting it. So it's definitely made me more sensitive to like the world. And, you know, even with grieving, someone lose a cousin, I lost a cousin, and you losing a cousin can make you suicidal, and it can make me happy.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely more sensitive to people. It taught me about friendship.
Yeah.
I was the person that I was calling everybody best friend, sister, brother, and brother, sister, best friend wasn't there when I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband will always tell me that, like, your circle is really big and you really do for a lot of people. When I was down to my lowest, when I didn't think I was gonna make it, I only had 2 people. Yeah. Well, you know, not including my mom, and, you know, my family and stuff like that. But I only had 2 friends that were really like on me. So definitely made my circle, which is something I needed. Because again, I was a person that felt like I always needed a lot of friends and a lot of people. And I was just so happy and doing stuff. But you got to realize, you know, everybody ain't, you know, cut out from the same cloth. So that was definitely another thing. And then, I mean, I guess the one thing is just the experience. I talk to a lot of people. I'm on a group on Instagram, and to see like the women like still a year and 2 years later, and they're putting up they're in a dark place and suicidal, and I just be like my daily thing is like, God, I thank you. Like, it's only been about 6 months since I lost Laila, and I feel back like Dejunae. Like, I'm glad that this traumatic experience didn't make me, you know, still bitter and things like that. So I know it's nobody but God. Like, it's nobody but God.
Yes. Do you think about, I know we talked on it lightly, but do you want more children? And when, or have you thought about like when?
I do want more kids.
Okay.
I told my husband I never forget, because he always would play and say, I want 5 kids, and I said, you only get 1, so make that one experience your best experience. That is still my answer.
Okay.
Even when we do birth a kid, I still only want that 1. 2 is too many.
What's wrong with that?
I do. I am ready. When I tell you I am, oh God, I am. If it could happen tomorrow, I would be like, okay, y'all, we pregnant.
That's amazing.
Yes, I would definitely. Now, I don't want a girl, and it was so crazy because when we found out it was a girl, we were both like shaking. Because I was like, I've been praying for a boy all this time. Like, I want a little boy. So, you know, we have our little angel girl, and I'm sure she's perfect in heaven. Yeah. But I definitely want a boy.
Okay.
A little boy. So soon, hopefully within maybe the next 2 years, probably.
Yeah. Oh, that's
well,
awesome.
Definitely, probably.
I'm glad it didn't discourage you, because, you know, some people, they go through things and they allow it to discourage them, but you turning it for good, you know?
Yes.
And you shouldn't.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
And I would, if there's any more advice that you would give to someone who have experienced going through a miscarriage, what would you tell somebody? What would you tell them?
That is not the end. Like, don't blame yourself for your body failing you. Don't blame people. It's hard because the miscarriage, like the expectation of a baby and, you know, the life. Don't get discouraged. Try again. Keep people, positive people in your ear that you trust, that see a future. Like, I think that if it's anybody that is going through a miscarriage, I would definitely say, take this time to examine your surroundings, because they are the people that is going to bring you up and out, because it makes you feel lifeless having a baby. Definitely, any other words, don't give up. Don't give up trying. Don't give up. Don't get complacent and saying, you know, well, God, maybe God doesn't want me to have a kid. Keep trying. We're put on this earth to reproduce. Find your niche too. And kids, I took my pain and turned it into something great. So, you know, find out, you know, why, like, what is the purpose? Because at the end of the day, you're still a parent. So, you know, what am I, you know, what did I need? Or, you know, check the time. And when I look at it now, right now, Laila would have been 2 months. With all this COVID and stuff like that, I'm glad we didn't have to birth a child in the midst of all of this. Like, you know, sometimes God will protect us. It looks like a burden or a hurt at that moment, but it's really preserving us for something greater. Yep. So if you know you lose a miscarriage, just say that, you know, maybe God knows he wanted to give you something perfect, and the baby that was coming wasn't perfect. And you only deserve God's best. So that's how I look at it. So that is definitely my advice to any miscarriage family. Don't let miscarriages break you up from your spouse or your family. Let this be a togetherness, something to bring you guys together so that you can get through together. I know a lot of marriages that end because, you know, they feel some kind of way, or one parent blames the other, or anything like that. No, that is a trick of the enemy. He doesn't already want to see people together and happy and reproducing. So let this be a moment for you guys to stick together and cry, grieve, scream, holler. That's the only way that you'll get through it. Cry, question God. I mean, it's not good to question him, but my prayers was like, God, show me why did this happen to me? I waited till I was married. Like, I could have been like others, and you know, I waited. Like, why did this happen to us? Like, to me, why? So don't be afraid to ask God why, but also be wise enough so when he answers that you understand why. Right. And then just talk you out of it. Took me a lot of talking to myself. Dejunae, you're okay. So if I was to talk to a mother, an advice, get a journal, write your feelings. Your feelings are not invalid. Your feel, how you feel is how you feel. Don't let nobody say, I know somebody was like, well, I had 3 miscarriages before my first, and it didn't take me this long to get over it. It didn't take you this long, but I'm stuck here.
That's right.
So don't allow somebody else's experience to be your experience, because it's not their experience. So get a journal, write your feelings. You are valid. Like, you are a strong woman. I felt less than a woman too, that I couldn't carry. Like, how I'm here and I'm supposed to carry and I can't. Nothing is wrong with you. It's not your fault. So that is what I would tell any miscarriage mother. It's not your fault. Nothing is wrong with you. You're perfectly fine. It's just that God wanted to give you a perfect gift, and the gift that you was carrying probably wasn't perfect for you at that time. And he only wants the best for us.
I love that. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for just coming on here and sharing your story.
No problem. No problem.
Thank you so much. You definitely gave me I never really talked to a miscarriage mother before. You know, I never really did. So you definitely gave me a lot of insight, and I appreciate it. And I know a lot of people are going to get something from this conversation that we had.
Yes.
How could people find out more about your foundation, or if they want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Yes. So my email, definitely, I get people writing me stories all the time. Just, you know, as word of encouragement, definitely reach out to me via, of course, social media, which is Dejunae Stringfield, DEJUNAE, Stringfield, STRINGFIELD. So that's on my social media. You can find me on Instagram as well as Facebook. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to message me. You can also email me, which is at DejunaeHarris@gmail.com. Yes, I still am using my maiden last name for my but yes, DejunaeHarris@gmail.com. I'm always open to sit and talk. If you need advice, if you don't have a circle that is supportive and positive during your time, reach out to me and I can give you some positivity that was deposited in me. And you know, those seeds are just growing and blossoming now. So I'm able to, if I got it, you got it. Yes. That's how I think of it.
Yes, I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks again. See you guys.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.